So Michael, we're up to speed with the ultimate technology, but this little beast, back in 1991, there was a fair bit of work going on because when it arrived from Japan, it was clearly a lot different to how we ended up winning Bathurst in 91 and then 92. So even the simplest things, it originally arrived with a 14-inch front brake rotor.
All right.
So we had to go to a 14.8-inch brake rotor. We did our own wheel, so a company in Adelaide, CSA, made the wheel for us. Even in terms of just the Australianisation of it, we did all the turbos, we did all the engines, we did all the homologation for the front in terms of all the intercoolers. It's a very you.
Oh, mate, this is actually not a bad fit for me.
Now, you wouldn't like to have a side intrusion crash of the day, would you?
No, look, it's instantly feel a little bit less safer than what I'm used to, that's for sure.
But there's nowhere near the amount of bars, and clearly even the simple things, we didn't have a cross in the door. Good for driver changes.
Yeah, I was just about to say, yeah, when you're at Bathurst and you've got to do a driver change in 15 seconds, that's not bad. But I mean, straight away, I mean, obviously you've still got the dash in the car from how it came standard. Bit of a change in the Motec, but what can you tell me about, you know, this gear stick? Well, that's about as basic as it comes.
Exactly. So we did our own gearbox. It was a Hollinger gearbox. This was a 6-speed, and this one was a 5-speed in the previous model. Dog box. You know, they were really hard and clunky in comparison. Exactly, a lot of work. A lot of this area in here, in behind that panel, is where the boost switch was.
All right.
So the drivers definitely knew where that was.
Yeah, that was the reach zoomed up.
So on full boost, we could run about 1.8 or 1.9 bar, and that was almost 700 horsepower. And as a race car in a Touring Car Championship round, we'd run 1.2, 1.3 bar, and that roughly had 600 horsepower at that time.
And to put that into terms, like even now, we're just getting to that point of near 700 horsepower. So to have that 25 years ago, and we're still to today at that point, that's pretty special.
So this was the really cool one. So where that's set out there now is the lowest four-wheel drive mode, and then if it rained, it clicked it all the way around, and that was full four-wheel drive.
No wonder
it was pretty wild in the wet. There was a lot less carbon fibre and a lot more, which we did in what I would call just genuine fabrication. So all the air filter system, all the turbocharger plumbing, the way that, as I said, we Australianised it was extraordinary. And the durability, imagine making all this stuff each time and every time it fits, all these hangers, because the turbos used to drop.
Okay.
So they got so hot that the manifold, that actually the turbos would sag. Yeah. The way that we ended up achieving the durability was just a massive amount of work. And that's one of the real travesties around what's actually taken place, is when the car was banned, you can imagine the amount of work
that's man hours involved to get it to where it was, exactly.
And when we converted as a team to the V8 regulations, there was nothing, not one single part of the stuff that we were able to develop you could use. We were the first ones to run the centralised pot and the submerged pumps. And the submerged pumps would pump that in and have basically a full centre, which was the one we had the reserve of. Exactly. And we had the first ones that had the little transponder in them that actually had a little thermo setting on them, which was just a resistor, that if it was covered with fuel, then you knew that you had fuel in the fuel tank. So it was pretty basic stuff, but in those days, we were the first to run it. So a $500,000 race car in 1990 or 1991 was like a $2 or $2.5 million car of today. So the car, when it arrived from Japan, it had all the speed stuff. The crucial bit of the twin turbo and the engine power and the four-wheel drive were all great. It did actually have four-wheel steer. We soon stopped that.
All right.
But if you think about what had taken place, and how hard Nissan Motor Company worked with Japan to get the car to being a race-winning car, just fantastic.